There's times to be tough and say, hey, you got family there with you, you'll be fine. This is not one of those times. Mom and dad made a mistake. So the question is when to exhibit tough love on your kids and when to be understanding and have sympathy. So it's a tough line because you want your kids to be tough in the mind. You want them to be, strong-willed. You want them to be resilient. But you also need to understand, or we have to understand, that they're also kids. In our case, they're 8 and they're 4. So the emotional intelligence of an 8-year-old, we can't say tough it up in the situation when mom and dad are gone for 7 days. We can't say tough it up because they can't emotionally wrap their mind around what this means to them. So in this case, with our kids, as soon as I found out that Ava was crying at school, I emailed the teacher that morning. I said, listen, Ava's had a tough time. We're in Jamaica. It's only been like a day or so, but let us know tomorrow. Before 9:30, I got an email back from the teacher that said, Ava just got back from where she was. She was crying. She wants to go home. I told Ami immediately. I said, let's book a flight. Let's just go back today. So that, for me, you don't want to be tough love in that situation. You want to be there for your kids. I want to be tough love when my kids fall down and I know there's nothing more than a little scrape and they cry for a long time. I'm like, cut it out. Stop it. Stop crying. It's fine. It's fine. You just stop crying. That's how I want to be tough. And there's other ways as well. In this case, I don't think it's appropriate. I think we have to be understanding because they don't have the emotional intelligence to follow the instructions and do what we say. Okay, just tough it up. We'll be back in a few days. They don't know what that means.
Well, they don't have the practice, so to speak. With kids, a lot of things that they get through or work their way through is through practice and repetition. Kids are best, so they don't know anything that they don't know, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah, they have no life experience to draw on.
Yeah, so if it's not something they've ever experienced, it may be difficult to try and figure out how to deal with it if it's so foreign. We could deal with something super foreign, but I'm like, oh, this is something I kind of been through before. I can figure out how to get through this. As the children of a certain age, it's like, no, I've never had to deal with this type of emotion or this type of feeling. Like, I don't know how to process it yet. And as the parent, it's your job to not coddle, but walk them through how to process that. In my mind, I'm like, there's no way to walk her through how to process this. We need to end this chaos of the feeling first. And then let's have a conversation. Let's figure out how we move forward with this. But that wasn't going to happen from us being in Jamaica. And trust me, I was like, this is terrible. But it wasn't like we were even mad. Like, you can't be mad at that situation at all. You can be, disappointed. But even that disappointment, like, you keep to yourself. Because once you walk in the door, you just want to give that relief of, we're back. It's okay. Didn't even talk about it that day at all. It was just like, we're here.
Well, I want to jump in and say I'm so proud of the girls because when we told them we were coming back, and the girls were just like, no, please stay. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And I was really proud of them because they were trying to see things from our side, that we're in Jamaica trying to have a good time. They weren't being completely selfish, like, yes, please come back as soon as you can. They're like, no, we'll try to be okay. And that made me just want to come back even more because it showed a lot of intelligence that they were saying, we feel this way, but we don't want you to come back. But I wanted to let them know, it's like, no, we want it. Like, I'm not upset. Like, I told Ava and Alexis, I said, even Jersey, I said, there's times to be tough and say, hey, you got family there with you, you'll be fine. This is not one of those times. Mom and dad made a mistake, an innocent mistake. We thought we could go for 7 days. That was a mistake. We should have chose a lesser amount of time, 3 or 4 days, and started with that. That's what we learned. And because you feel this way and you've had a tough time at school, we're going to come back immediately because we don't want you to live through that type of stress. And the thing about kids, about me knowing, the human body, when you're that age, you have an excessive amount of hormones at disposal. The cortisol, all these different things can just go crazy. And if you've never had an experience like this before, it's really hard to manage. And emotionally, it can just be overwhelming for you, especially because we have kids that can be kind of emotional anyhow. The only comparison I have is that when you go through your first breakup in life, it destroys you. It's like, but then when you have another one, you get used to it and you're like, okay, I can get through this. And you might have loved the last person the most in life, but that heartbreak may not be near as bad as the first one because the first one you never went through before. So we tried to go, but they were just not used to this at all. And the feeling was just like insurmountable and it was overwhelming. And it was up to mom and dad to say, we need to make a good decision. And we left Jamaica to come back, and we felt that was the right thing. And in no way what was I upset. I mean, it's unfortunate we lost money, but as far as like, I wasn't upset at having to come back because our kids missed us. I think that's frankly, it's a great thing.
Yeah, not even the loss of money, the loss of relaxation.